And we are back. Thank you for staying with us. In case you're just joining us, you are on time for the political discussion between Brian Sakwa, myself, and we have been joined by our guest host, that is Manu. He likes to call himself the Burning Dollar. Achani kukaribisha Manu.
Asante, Stephanie. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Sakwa.
Morning to you.
It's a beautiful day actually. Before I even introduce myself, siku hii ya leo, siku ya Jumatatu, tarehe 11 mwezi wa Novemba mwaka wa 2024, ni siku ambao Mungu amekusudia we see it, and it's a day that you'll never see again in your life. So no matter what you will go through today, be it good, be it bad, just know that it's a season. It's a life of seasons. Today you are up, tomorrow you are down. Today you are in love, kesho umepigwa heartbreak. But hold it on to the hope that tomorrow will be great. Anyway, in the East they call me Dollar, in the West they call me Burning, but my name is Burning Dollar. But pia unaweza niita Emmanuel. Yeah. Back to you, Stephen.
Yes, so Burning Dollar, you've been good. Awesome. So now, I want to throw you both into what has been happening in the political space. With me here is the People Daily, but we can sample everything and anything before we even get to it. So Trump won last week. Honestly, I didn't see it coming. I was rooting for Trump, but I didn't see him winning. And we were having that discussion with Saka. Saka, what did you make of it? Because you also are a Trump supporter. Before I get to money.
I think it was difficult too, but the way it was portrayed with the Western media and the way, you know, I was watching The View, the cast of The View, all the hosts from the Hopi Goldbergs and the rest, everything they were saying was in support of Kamala Harris. And I think they had sold out this narrative that it was time for a black woman president to take over America. And I think from judging also from the critics and the sentiments, a lot of people thought, and even the prophecies, I think there's one of the prophets who said, you know, it's Kamala. And so a lot of people bought into it. But let me tell you, after the results came out, the backlash and the name calling of false prophecy, I think it was just out of the proportion. But then I somehow knew, low-key, I somehow was feeling that Donald Trump is going to win. Because when you look at the messaging that, if you were to contrast and compare Kamala and Donald had already, you know, he had already space on ground. Like for him, it's like, oh, you're auditioning for this role in this movie? Okay, we're looking for a lead actor, but who has experience a little bit. In as much as, yes, you over there as well, you have experience, but at least you want someone who is mainstream, who has a face, a name, and a voice. And I think for that movie, Donald Trump is the leading actor, and he won. But then when you look at also the things that I feel threw Kamala off the chain is her agenda and her manifesto. The things she is pushing for, and at such a season, most conservative people of the world are not, you know, pushing. But if you look at the American culture and the fiber, things like, you know, the abortion rights or the pro-choice, the LGBTQ transgender, you know, human rights thing, it's in American culture. It's part of their, you know, behaviors if you study closely, you know, part of their community. So I think her messaging was not clear in terms of her, you know, going to the media. But then she had a lot of endorsements, you know, people like Beyonce, you know, an R&B icon from the black community, Oprah Winfrey, a media icon, you know, former President Barack Obama, Michelle, former president who is black. Now you can add in Cardi B, you know, these people are known in the black community. But then the message is celebrities have no influence on election. I think that's also what I was checking out. I think it was Sunny Hostin from The View, and there's this chicken Ajita Candice Owens. She's saying celebrities have no influence anymore. But then the number of impressions, you can imagine if Beyonce endorses you, even just one tag from Beyonce is enough to turn up another country in terms of their social media impressions. But still, they never got it.
Imagine.
You know? So I think celebrities from now on, the lessons is that celebrities have no voice. But then Donald Trump is a powerhouse. He had Elon Musk on his side. And I think he went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I hear it's the son who actually initiated that. And I think it's impressive. So the question is now that he's in office, what is there for us as Africans now, specifically Kenya? And we'll get to that. I'll tell you something. Yeah.
All right. Interesting, because you've mentioned Elon Musk, and you know, I honestly think that he contributed greatly to his win because
Yeah.
Trump actually acknowledged him
Yeah.
in his speech, and that did something to Elon
Yes.
Musk because Elon Musk used his money, and that's why I think he's a billionaire and he's one of the richest
Yeah.
in the world. He knows business, honestly.
Right.
So he used his money to help Trump
Yeah.
in the elections, and that came back,
Yes. And the
doubled
social
up,
media now. The
tripled
X. Yeah.
in billions more than what he invested
Yeah.
because once Trump mentioned him, his what do we call it? I'm forgetting. The shares went all up,
Yeah, literally the
boosted.
buyouts for Tesla, the Tesla cars.
Yeah.
I think they tripled. I saw CNN highlighting
It
it
went
in one
all
of the
up.
shows.
So
Yes.
and that's the kind of you know, business
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing. It's
This guy is winning. I'm sure. I'm sure the Jeff Bezos are just watching that. You know, coming on top, number 5, 4. I'm sure they're just watching and they're waiting to see. You know. But then now he has the backing of a president. So he's a threat of a superpower country. I don't know.
It's interesting. What do you think? What do you think
Yeah.
about all this, Manu?
Yeah.
Elon Musk played a good game. Yeah, he really played a nice game, actually. I saw him in the celebration. He was with his 2 kids. He was really happy. And from what he did, apart from whatever he has just gained, right now he's a close friend of Trump, the president of the US. So I believe any project that Elon Musk is going to take,
Watasikizana.
anything that is going to do itakuwa sawa mkubwa vile umesema, "Oh, you want that my friend, it's okay, you do it."
Yeah.
Robots next year, it's okay, you do it. So I believe that he really
Interesting.
did a good move. And for Kamala, I'm really sorry for her. I really rooted for her. I wanted her to be the president because at least
Oh, I'm
I have
sorry.
a soft spot for women, and I believe that they are wanakwanga wapole and they rule nicely. They really care. Some, not all of them. And I thought she could be a mother, a black mother, Jamaican black mother from the African roots. But again, Trump, people love Trump. Americans love Trump. Yeah, and it was up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was up to them. But now, what does this mean to us as Kenyans? Trump's win. You know, Kenyans have all been up on social media making some demands, and you know, part of the demands or what they're saying online, especially on KOT, is that they don't want the ambassador Megan. They don't want, you know, they want the Kenyan police to be moved back to the country from Haiti,
Right.
and they're
Yeah.
looking forward to Trump actually doing that. But we also saw the president saying that he was on call with the president of the United States, Donald Trump, and they spoke of, you know, a partnership and all that. So
Yeah.
what do you both make of it? Let me
Yeah.
start with you.
Okay. Oh, you go first.
Actually, about our soldiers coming back from Haiti, I think Kenyans need to understand that apart from Trump being the new president of the US, he's not like God. You won't just call Ruto, bring your people back to Kenya. It goes past him. Because the UN is a group of countries, other presidents, and it was not the previous president who said, Biden, who told Ruto, take your people to Haiti. It's something deeper. It's something, yeah, he might have the influence to make them, to
Come
make
back.
Ruto bring back the police officers from Haiti, but he can't do it. He can't just decide it at a go. And then, as Kenyans, we are going to benefit a lot. I saw him say that he's going to ban abortion. I don't know if he's actually going to do it. Yeah, we're going to get a lot as Kenyans.
Who said who's going to ban?
Trump. I saw on a tweet.
Oh yeah, because those are some of the things he was not supporting. He also said that he will stop the you know what they had been doing.
It's
in
called
terms of
gender affirming and reaffirming and
yes,
reassignment.
the gender reassignment. That's the word I was looking for. So why would they tell a kid, oh, you are born in the wrong body? Why did you even start, honestly speaking? So that kind of a thing is going to be banned. And for him, he said he only recognizes 2 sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's male and female. Those are things that Trump supports. And, you know, that's why he's saying. And Sakwa, so what do you think? What does this mean for
Right.
Kenya?
I think it can be a big win, but when you look at Trump's persona, judging from his demeanor, I think he doesn't care. I don't think Trump can sit down and say, now let's call, you know, if you were to compare the Biden and Kamala Harris, I think they had some sort of close tie with our president right here, and that's why they even, invited him for that, syndicated state visit. And then I believe the biggest thing we're benefiting from this is funding, funding from, also the peacekeeping Haiti mission that initially supposed to be a United Nations project, but then this was done, I think, outside the pressings of, let's take initially Africa as a whole, but now the demographic Kenya, and send, soldiers there. So that means this money that's being pumped from the US to the Kenyan government, or specifically in that docket that was assigned to go there. So I believe when Trump comes into office, I've been watching CNN since Friday. Just in fact, all the low-targets, Trump has kicked someone. Trump is saying, like everything. If you watch CNN right now, every conversation they're having is literally Trump. So I think when he comes into office, he's going to give it a facelift. But from the conversation I saw before I left the house, they're saying there's some people he's kicking out. There's some foreign policies that maybe are in alignment even with ending the war in Ukraine, which I think he believes he's going to end it. Things like, climate funding that we benefit a lot, especially from Western countries, especially for us right here in Kenya. Now that we're just tapping into, things like carbon credit, I think that's where we can benefit more because, Trump is a businessman and Elon Musk is a businessman. So they're all about business. So I believe their relationship with Kenya or maybe African countries would be more of, okay, can we send their people to do industrialization other than can we take part of their soldiers to Haiti? Because Trump is a businessman, So I think if you are to closely squint and observe, I think those are maybe the benefits. But like that, friendship of, come Kenya, and I saw how Kenyans are reacting to that hashtag. Recall, I think it was resign Meg Whitman. The reason why Kenyans are saying that is because they feel like, man, sina lawyer, tafadhali. Sina lawyer for now, especially kwa issue. But from the sentiments expressed is that they feel like, this ambassador contributed to part of, the issues that we are experiencing, especially when it came for her to add voice to the Gen Zs who were shot and killed, the 71 plus. She never said anything. Her being a representative of that country, she was supposed to play, like at least a controller, or just a person who was to come down and even call the president too. Let's have a conversation. Why were police sent to shoot? CNN is filming live. Larry Madowo is there. Becky, it's happening. They're shooting us. These videos are still on the internet. She never said anything. So I think from the rage and the reaction is she never helped Kenya and citizens especially. While they were even contesting for the finance bill, they knew very well the finance bill was a very contentious bill. And in fact, I was shocked when there's an article, it was written by Nation, I'll find it. They said, in fact, IMF knew that this finance bill would create a sort of buzz in the Kenyan demographic, but they still went ahead. I don't know. You remember they said the education funding model is an IMF model, so many, cryptic things, yeah.
It's a lot, and, that's why Kenyans are finding the frustration and telling Trump, do something. But we get to see
but I know he will do something.
What will happen. And I also know that green card might not be easy now, because I know people are applying for green card now to go to the US. So I know he's not going to stop green card, but it might not be as easy as it would have been if it was probably not him in the seat. So, but all the best to all those that have applied for it.
But it's okay. Actually, he has been very vocal from his previous campaigns that about the blacks coming to. He doesn't love blacks. Okay, he loves blacks, but he doesn't adore them. How can I say that? Yeah, but he loves blacks. Okay, the Kenyans vacating their country, going to the US, and it's believed that when they go there, a lot of them engage in drug addicts, in gangs, and that's what he doesn't love. He doesn't love the gangs. Actually, I saw on his campaign, he was very calm and he was like, your streets will be safer, your groceries will be cheap. So he doesn't love the gang in the streets, the unsafeness. So, and I believe that he's going to change that. And about the Ukraine, he's going to end that war because he said that he will stop the funding from the US, the Ukraine. And that's going to have a very great impact on the war. Okay. Definitely. Without the US support, Ukraine will not be in a good place to fight Russia.
But will Russia be in a good place to fight Ukraine?
Yeah, Russia is
That's
is a superpower.
So does that really help?
It
So,
will it will force the Ukrainian president to come into terms with the Russian president, because you can't fight a war that you can't win.
yeah, okay. So, well, we wait and see how that will
Time
turn
will
out,
tell.
because things are usually, shaky, and
Actually,
Yeah.
before you
things
forget
change really quick.
about the ambassador, I think Kenyans were throwing stones at the wrong person. Okay, she never helped us, but it was not her fight.
No, people hold you accountable, because when you speak on certain matters and don't speak on others, then people feel that you're not for them. So I think that's where Kenyans are. You something would come up and you'd speak against it. And
But
you speak
how
against.
many ambassadors
now-
do we have in Kenya?
No, we're talking about a country that's a superpower that has a very good influence. So we can't expect the Liberian ambassador to come and talk. There's a certain power that US has, and that's why that everyone is talking about the US election. Why?
But it was live. She didn't need to go and tell Biden. Biden saw it on the screens. It was live everywhere. People saw it on CNN. Kenyans are being killed. I think she's going to lose her job, maybe, just for something that she could have done nothing.
But I don't think she will lose her job. She might just be reassigned to something else.
Great.
And that's the thing, how their laws work and ours different. But I don't think she will lose her job. She will not just be in Kenya, if at all that goes through. Moving away from, but before that, because I saw, Trump's life was also at risk. There's been many attempts on his life. So now what I saw on BBC is that now he has some security. And you'd think that it's security, manned security. It's actually not manned. These are robotic dogs. Like, I saw robotic dogs and I was like, what is this? Is this Elon Musk? Is this you?
Elon Musk security.
Because I saw robotic dogs, and those are security dogs, and there's sort of a ship. I think it has some technology, surveying the area, and you will know that he's in power now. You just can't get to him. So that's that's something on his security, because I was wondering, will he still be safe even as a president? Because
that's impressive.
For someone who wanted him out, they will still want him out as a president. So
he's now safer. He's now in charge of the battles. Because I can imagine if Kamala would have been president, as in tungepumua the feminists wangekuwa saizi Steph sijui kila mtu angekuwa na billboard hii town. Because the celebrities, but then what I love about Kamala is at least she accepted, I think that's what also trended right here in Kenya. She conceded and said, we don't fight, an election that we've already lost. We concede it and we peacefully allow the next person to assume office. And then she said she'll facilitate peaceful transition of power to, Donald Trump. But this Wednesday, I think Donald Trump is meeting Biden. I think it will be televised as well on CNN. So they have a meetup one-on-one. Wednesday. I think their Wednesday is Thursday here. So they'll be meeting up one-on-one to have a conversation on, congratulations, you made it again. Welcome back to my set.
I didn't want you to win, but you have won.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that
But I'm sure Biden is numb. Kama sasa hata kuklap peke yake memsinda. Nakumbuka ile day Juneteenth, they are busy dancing the R&B songs, the Beyonces and everything, and Kirk Franklin, ako tu hapo tu still to come a robot. I'm sure he'll just welcome back.
But plus, I saw Trump was very honest that he doesn't want. Actually, I saw him with a garbage truck in Washington. Said this garbage truck is on honor of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Wow. A garbage truck, a clean one, a new one.
Hey, politics is everywhere. It's everywhere, and things are happening real fast. So moving away from what's happening in the global space to right here, now we have KCSE exams going on, and on People Daily, the front page, this is what it has written: fears over exam transport crisis. So this is the crisis. Petroleum dealers threaten not to fuel vehicles ferrying papers after state fails to honor its side of the bargain. Now, what are this? Why would the state not fuel? And they know, is it not planned ahead?
Yeah.
That the exams are this and that. we need fuel for this and this day. This is the amount. Like, why does it always seem like the state is unprepared for such important matters? And it's not just this. Even in other areas, you know, watu wengine wanagopanga tenda government juu aujui utalipwa lini. You know, it's all good for people who try to get these tenders and contracts for the state, and then, you know, getting the money now is the problem. It might take a year. You will get the money, but it will take so long. So do we need to do something about it? What do you guys think?
Actually, I believe that the state gives the funds on time, but now the hierarchy. Unaona ile ya itoke huko juu hadi kufikie. In between there, people have to create schemes on how they will steal before ifike to the county government, from the county to the up to the constituencies, maybe to the CDF. A lot of people need to steal, so they need to take money in order to steal that money. And I believe that the government gives fund. The KCSE was planned in advance, so the funds, I believe that they were given in advance. But now the hierarchy. By the time ifike your driver pale kwa petrol station, a lot of people need their shares. And a lot of people there now, the link comes there. Now wanaekelea the state, but in real sense, it's these officials in between that have been employed by the state.
But in this case, I don't really feel it's a matter of corruption, because it's not, let me just read it. Petroleum dealers threaten not to fuel vehicles, filing papers after state fails to honor its side of the bargain. Okay, maybe it could be that, but how I'm feeling about it is that, you know, it's the same thing as what happens during teacher strike. They have signed a deal, and the state is supposed to maybe have done a deposit of this amount by this time, so that, you know, we do this. So for me, that's what I'm thinking. They were supposed to remit some certain amount of money so that if they facilitate the transportation, the fueling, because it's straight, you know, once it's approved, it's straight. It doesn't go through or what, because it's not the drivers who are asking for money. It's the people who are fueling it. So it's the organization themselves that are asking for this money. So I think there's some delay, and what is causing that is what I don't understand, because why was it planned earlier? But what do you think about it?
It's unfortunate, really, stuff, because also when you look at these exams need to be delivered in these places really fast and on time, and when there's such a hitch, I think it even inconveniences the students themselves and even the teachers. But like you're saying, if they had a certain bargain agreement, then fulfilling it should be, at least it should be fulfilled promptly on time. And I think these are some of the issues that you know, people in Gava experience. Like even the lecturers and even the doctors. I think lecturers are still on strike as we speak. Doctors are going on strike, I think, by next week, because they feel like there's a collective bargain agreement that was never again fulfilled, or fulfilled fully, maybe a quarter of it, but not yet fulfilled. So really testing and trying times for people in Gava.
It's quite something, but we'll see how that goes. We hope that KCSE watamaliza in one piece, because all you want when you get into form 4 ni umalizane. Once the exams umalize, uende home usahau hiyo story, ungoja next year after a long holiday and we get campus. Man, that feeling I don't know if I if I'd want to get back to that. Moving from that, Raila, so the former premier, Raila has said, according to this newspaper, I'm in the race for the AU job as an African lion. So so he is telling Kenyans that he was in the race for the African Union Commission chairman seat as an African lion and brave enough to face any of his challengers. So what do you guys think? Because he was being launched. It was interesting, that caption. Raila being launched as the AUC chairperson representing Kenya. What do you all feel about it? The African lion, as he is called himself. Do you see him?
Is he the African lion for real?
He did. He's called himself the African lion. Do you see him taking this position, especially from the kind of feedback he's gotten from Kenyans? But not just that.
Right.
It's not, okay, Kenyans might have some mixed reactions on that, but also in this paper, it's written Raila's quest gets cross-party support. So the AUC chairperson election will be held in February 2025. It's almost here. My goodness, the days
Yeah.
have passed. Four candidates are seeking to replace the current chairperson, Moussa Faki. So Raila is one of those
Yeah.
that are contesting for this seat, and stakes are also high for the Djibouti,
Yeah.
you know, um, the Djibouti representative.
Yes.
So I don't know what you guys
Yeah.
think about it.
Is he winning? I think the question is he gonna be the brand
Chairperson.
to bear, the winning position? From the support he's received right here in Kenya, I think that already has given him at least some sort of leverage. But then from the reactions and what netizens are doing online is that they're voting for that other guy. So, but let me just take you through some of his, because I believe if you are to contest for that chair, you have at least to have a manifesto. So Raila's manifesto is, and plus many others, is agricultural transformation for Africa, climate action, then harnessing youth potential in digital transformation, and then regional peace and security. These are really, yes, they're needed in Africa, but I think we have bigger issues. Yes, agricultural transformation is a good thing. Climate action is really fantastic because we are just now morphing into things like, carbon credit, green sector, green economy, jobs, and, we are having an outburst of activists coming up to, advocate for climate change. But in terms of him being a syndicated personality for that post, I think it's a wishy-washy, vote. I don't, but he might win. You never know, because also it's politics. It's politics, I believe. But I think from what people are saying online, I don't think, because I even saw a photo saying rejected. In fact, it was his photo and then the word rejected on it. So 50-50. But I don't think he's winning, according to me.
So 50-50, highly likely that he won't win from Sakwa.
Yeah.
What about you, Manu? What are your thoughts?
So first, I love Baba. I wish him well because he's a Kenyan, and definitely as a Kenyan, I would love to see him be the Simba of the AUC, because we will benefit definitely. But again, he's used to home politics, like Kenyan politics. He's not used to. Actually, I saw his speech. You see the way we are used to him, Baba speaking, Minataka, the way he speaks, and the way he delivered his speech in Ethiopia the other day. I believe that that's not in AUC. It may not favor him that much, as we love the way he speaks and the way he delivers his speech. But I believe, what can I say? Can I say that he's my grandfather, let me say that, and I believe that he should just retire in politics and rest. He might not win, because the guy from Djibouti is used to outside politics, unlike Baba, home politics. So the stakes are not really high, but it's nice. I would love to see him win, maybe finally at least, apart something out of it, out of the political game.
Oh, you're going to cowboy, at least a part or two because he's been. But he might win, because you never know. Yes, he's faced some backlash from Kenyans, especially Gen Z, because they felt betrayed by Baba, who was with them until he got some shares in government, and boom, that's how the broad-based government was formed, and people felt betrayed, and that's the main reason why there's that sort of backlash for him. But again, Kenyans are not the ones voting, so it's these leaders that will vote. So maybe you might just take it. Who knows? The thing is that we'll have to wait until February to find out who won, and if he doesn't win, will he get a position in government again?
Yeah.
Will he have some stakes? Because we know Baba, he doesn't just sit. There's always something for him. Yeah. And speaking of which, his party, that is the Orange Democratic Party, has suffered a bit, especially because people have been saying, now we don't have an opposition, so who will become the opposition leader, and all that, because now it feels like he's part of the government. And so his party, even before that, had a little bit of some wrangles here and there. when some were almost joining government, and it was back and forth and all that. And even now, when they formed the broad-based government, people felt that there's no power again in the opposition. And ODM has been the opposition, being led by Raila Odinga himself. So now we are almost seeing a change, or a change that is trying to be done from how I'm seeing it in this particular party, because now I'm almost saying that they are recruiting people into ODM to try and make it great again, with the current leader being Gladys Wanga. You know, and I just saw Casmo, and I thought, oh, wow. Now, is he a sellout? Is he someone
Marketing.
who's just very, very strategic with his political game? Now, what do you guys make of it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. But then I was looking at the reactions. I think, yes, when Kansmel was addressing the crowd, I think he was also given a chance to address in the presence of Gladys Wanga. And a lot of people were saying, they were saying betrayer. Another one said, we deplatformed you, we don't want you. But then he was talking about young people being recruited into some of these political parties. And I saw somebody reacting and saying that it was necessary for people like Kazmal Makori. Who else? It's necessary for people like Morara Kebasu. Who else has been vocal, who is on the line, on the front line, for them to at least affiliate themselves with a political party, because that will gives them some sort of like a vehicle or an identity in terms of their political standing. Yeah. So, but I think the red flag is the political party that he's affiliating himself with it bears a brand of, I'd say, betrayal, in a sense that, like you just said, when the Gen Zs are being shot and killed, and then all of a sudden they formed a broad-based government, it means that they've been absorbed into the facility or the instrument that hurt them, right, or that harmed the netizens. So Kenyans still felt betrayed. And when they saw Kazma taking a photo with even Raila Odinga, they were like, okay, now you're just part of them. We just knew it was a matter of time. But then we've also even seen people like Morara Kebaso. People are saying, oh, they are compromised. In fact, they're not even working for the state. And the people who are vocal, some of them went silent. We've seen people like Maverick Kaoko, she disappeared. She's on and off, like a lot of explosiveness left, right, and center. But then I think if they were to have a position of, let's say, opposition, I think Babu Owino is coming up really, strong. In as much as he doesn't have that, I'd say, syndicated support. But Babu Owino, I saw in one of the crowd's reaction where Millie Odhiambo, but they she reacted on Kamala Harris losing election, and she spoke in that American accent. It was really funny, yeah. They were addressing the crowd, and people are literally vouching for Babu Owino. So I think it's interesting. But then when you look at it, the other side, there's Kalonzo Musyoka. He says they're going to go to the streets, because I hear there's potentially some parts of the, rejected finance bill that are being, resuscitated, including, expanding the tax base, returning some of the facets of it that were not, highly recommended by Kenyans before even 25th of June. So I think in terms of forming an opposition vehicle, maybe Babu Owino should join Kalonzo Musyoka and then DAPK leader, that is Eugene Wamalwa, so that at least we have a strong opposition voice that can, get the government in check. But then most of the faces are in and out. You've seen even Millie saying, you know what, ODM is not part of the government. I think I saw that in the bite that played out yesterday. So I think right now the opposition, grounding is not that solid and resolute in terms of their prominence and their voice and their input. Is like one day there's somebody being bought, or another person has joined this other side, and another one is exiting. So it's a weak kind of opposition structure.
It's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you say, Manu?
So I believe that first we don't have an opposition, and as Kasmuel was saying, yeah, it's true, these young coming up politicians, they need to belong to a home, they need to belong to a political party. But ODM, when you talk of ODM, you think of Baba, right? When you talk of Jubilee, you think of Uhuru Kenyatta. So how can you tell people, Kasmuel was telling people that if they are thinking of a political party to join, they should consider ODM. How can you tell them to consider ODM? These people are fighting for the Gen Zs who were killed because of the finance bill, that the ODM party leader, the person who really brought ODM to where it is today is Raila Amolo Odinga, and is in government. And now you're telling the same people who are fighting the government to join the government, because Casmuel is telling the young people to join ODM. It's like joining just the government. And so I believe we don't have an opposition in Kenya right now. But Kalonzo, if the way Sakwa said, if Babu Wino can join Kalonzo, Casmuel is already gone. Maybe Morara join Kalonzo, and then maybe we'll have an opposition. But I think this for ODM and Casmuel, they're just trying to buy the Gen Zs to bring them into the government. Unaingilia ODM mlango ya nyuma.
Kuna game inachezwa.
Game fulani unaingilia mlango ya nyuma unajipata sitting room.
Nilifikaje hapa. All right, okay, interesting. So there's a lot, and you know, it keeps changing every day. That's the beauty about politics. It's one day in politics is like a thousand days, so a lot can happen in just one day. Today we see Kasmuel there, tomorrow he will be speaking against ODM. You know, today we see someone there, tomorrow we'll be seeing someone on the other side. So that's politics for us. Now, about Shah, you know, the president, you know, was doing a tour, and he talked about Shah, but I'll look into what has been mentioned here, which I have just lost for some reason. But basically, the president was urging people to register for Shah, and some people actually with the president, is it in Kakamega or somewhere, and then he got really mad, and you know, I would say he got mad. That's just me saying, from how he responded to them, but he asked the men when they're giving birth or something. So that was quite something. I don't know if I can get it right here. Yeah, so President Ruto angry at Kakamega residents after they opposed shift during his speech in Kakamega, na alisema wewe mwanaume unapiga kelele kuhusu shift, utapata mimba siku gani? And then that was from the president. So just that, comparing it to a news that I've seen in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nigeria, one of the African countries. So the Nigerian government announces a free cesarean section for all pregnant women in need. So this is something that's not, I don't know. Shah says that it helps, you know, pregnant women in this area, but for cesarean section, it doesn't cover as much, you know, with shift, and it depends. It's the same money being given for those that are being covered in public hospitals, same as those that are in private hospitals. So if it's 30, that's the cap, then 30 will also apply even if you're going to whatever private hospital that you'd be in. So what do you think of this? And even with that, will that encourage more women in Nigeria to have cesarean section? Can the same be applied in Kenya?
I wish, you know, I wish that, but I think that's good news, Steph, because also I think cesarean section is an alternative to, and you know, a mother who is just about to deliver is experiencing complications, especially when she has to deliver directly through the birth canal. I wish that would have happened, you know, right here in Kenya. But then the shift and Shah backlash, Steph, I think I saw one of the council, I think it should be from NCIC. They had a closed meeting, and then they came up with a final agreement and said they should abandon, you know, they called on the president to recall Shif or Shah, because there's patients who can't even, you know, afford, you know, that part of contribution that it's required for. So they're requesting and calling on the government to, you know, recall Shif. And also I think they also did a petition, I think, to one of the courts to ensure that, you know, at least they look into the matter. So I think in one of the news headlines, they were like, religious leaders reject Shif. Yeah, so I think that sends a message, but I'm sure that message will not, you know, received to the person who's supposed to see, because these are the religious leaders, and you know, you've just seen what has happened to, you know, my uncle. You remember my uncle? Who's just exited office. In my head, not in real life, he's my uncle in my head as a friend. So I think it's testing and trying. It's very testing and trying times. But then I think when you look at the way, we saw the other day at Mama Lucy, deplorable condition. Mothers are sleeping on the floor. They've paid for the beds, but then they're not able to receive the service. It's deplorable and horrible. Yeah, I don't know what you think.
Actually, what I think, first, I love Kenyans who are starting being petty. First, Sha is working actually. A cousin of mine, she's in hospital. She actually underwent surgery. So far, so good. We have not paid even a single cent. Ako hosi kwa kitanda vizuri pale. So Sha is working. Sha is really working. On the ground, it's working. On the internet, a lot of people, the opposition or people just, Kenyans, kuna Wakenya tu wanapenda tu moshene, wanapenda tu kukuwa negative. So people may talk a lot on the internet, but on the ground, there might be delays, but Sha is working.
Yeah,
so for you, for me, it's working, but on the part of the Syrian being covered, I think maybe they may have forgotten it, but it should be covered, because what's the whole point then? Because that's something that you are prepared for. Mbono cover this, other people will get accidents for surgeries. You can't cover for our mothers, because that's something they will give birth, definitely. That's something that it will be there. So I think peer government, yache kutupima, because this is something you are expecting. These people you are covering for accidents, it's not, some people live a whole lifetime without getting a single accident, without going to the hospital to get a surgery. So I think it should cover these things that we expect more than the things that we won't expect. And for the churches, I think it was the Catholics. And it's because Sha is not covering the Catholic hospitals. So it's just politics, mbona COCC, mbona hatujakuwa included. But the government is trying, but it should include our mother, should try hard, I believe. We deserve it as Kenyans.
Okay, so man who has spoken for the government.
Left.
No, all right, he said to you, but it is fine as well. That's where we put close on this particular conversation, but we'll be coming up with more, so let me allow you to tell us where people can get you on your socials. Burning Dollar, let me start with you.
It's burning_dollar, all social media platforms, burning_dollar. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And then at Brian Sakona 1 at 9 a.m., I'll be coming up with a conversation on redefining success, so you don't want to miss it at Brian Sakona 1.
All right, so we take a short break. We'll be right back with more.